Okay, Sistas fans, this has been one of the biggest talking points of this week's episode of the show. The fact that Fatima was sipping on a glass of wine despite being pregnant. Now, a lot of people have been going back and forth about timeline stuff. It's like, oh, well, in Sisters, she hasn't said she's pregnant yet. Maybe she doesn't know she's pregnant. That's why she's drinking that glass of wine. Because, she said she's pregnant in the season 2 finale of Zatima. See, so it really doesn't add up. People have been forgetting a key point from, I think, if I remember correctly, the first episode of season 6 of Sisters, when Zach comes to the law firm and he tells Fatima about how he's freaking out about the Michael thing, and Heather hasn't really heard from her or something like that, but it's like I'm going to therapy and whatnot. I believe this is when they arranged to, like, hey, on my lunch break, let's go over to Heather's apartment together so we can see him. Because at this point in the season 5 finale, she had already signed that paperwork for the $2,000 per month. And, they would talk visitation and whatnot. And Heather was like, you can come by and see him anytime you want to. So this was going to be Zach's first time to go. Like, I think it was Fatima that's like, hey, let's go by there to surprise her so we can really see how Michael's living, as opposed to how Heather would want us to see. And he mentioned, like, yeah, I've been going to therapy. And if you remember, he didn't start therapy until Zatima season 2. So there were a number of other key points. I think later on in the first half of the season 6, after the whole salon fire, and Zach has to sit down with Fatima in regards to his emotional outburst over Karen's quote unquote death. He said that I didn't even act this way when I lost my mom. So that pretty much, or, I've never acted that way even over my own mother, which again, I feel like is a nod to how he lost his mother in Zatima season 2. So folks, I can go on and on. I've done a number of videos, not just on this channel, but I believe also on the backup channel, My Kind of Entertainment. But folks, Zatima season 2 takes place before Sisters season 6. So canonically speaking, Fatima is pregnant in Sisters. Now, in regards to the whole drinking a glass of wine, I did a little research. And it does say that there's never a good time during a pregnancy for a woman to drink any sort of alcohol. Now, you could also make the argument like, well, yeah, maybe she drank the alcohol because she didn't know she was pregnant. But as I just explained during the first couple of minutes of this video, season 2, hey, Zatima, she already knows she's pregnant. Now, you could also look at Karen, because it wasn't until the back half of season 4, I think it was the back half of season 4, when her and Aaron went to the hospital and she found out she was like a month into her pregnancy. And then you look at okay, this is where things get really confusing. And I mean, even more confusing than these Zatima Sisters timeline. Some of the cast say, oh, each season is about a week, but then there are certain lines of dialogue that Tyler Perry throws in there, which throws the timeline continuity completely out of whack, because part of me wants to say, well, damn, if Karen's been a month pregnant, that means, she's been pregnant since way back in season 1, if we're going by each season as a week, which doesn't make sense. So in reality, you look at the Karen from like season 1 or early season 2, this was a Karen who would smoke and drink a lot. And it wasn't until like, a good deal into season 2 when her and Aaron were literally a serious thing, not in a relationship, but they were consistently dating and whatnot. He was having an influence over her. She wasn't drinking alcohol. She wasn't cussing as much. She was dressing more like a church, lady, if you will. So Karen, you could argue, wasn't, consuming alcohol or anything like that when she could have gotten pregnant. But, folks, I don't think Fatima sipping a glass of wine if she is indeed pregnant, because, I mean, who's to say that in Zatima season 3, she goes to the doctor and finds out that she wasn't really pregnant. And then in terms of the timeline, that happens before the Sistas season 6 as well. I don't know. But I feel like a pregnant woman sipping on a glass of wine is one of the low tier, ridiculous things we've seen in a Tyler Perry project. I mean, when you look at the Oval, for example, all the crap that goes down in the White House, or like the haves and the have-nots, there are a countless amount of examples I could use of when reality just doesn't add up. I think it was probably just off continuity. Maybe in the moment Tyler didn't think about the pregnancy. He's like, hey Crystal, while DeVal is like, putting the dinner on the in the bowls, from the bowls and in the plates, you just casually pour a glass of wine and just hold it and go for like one sip or something. It probably wasn't like on his mind like, oh wait, she's pregnant, so she can't really have that. So honestly, I'm not, kind of like with the whole baby bump thing. Why isn't Karen showing? And this, that. I don't give a crap. I mean, yeah, loose continuity. But remember, and if Loving You was wrong, towards the end of the series, there was something about Brad accidentally letting the baby lay on its stomach, but then the episode before that, he didn't let the baby lay on its stomach. It's just weird continuity. So I don't think it's anything to freak out about. But then again, with this fan base, we'll freak out over everything. I mean, who am I? I mean, I'm like the last person to tell people to chill, considering that I love me some continuity. But being in this business for as long as I have, dissecting Tyler Perry content, it's a given that continuity isn't going to line up all the time, whether it's the characters who seem to forget something or when Tyler seems to forget the things that he wrote. Like, for example, Heather saying she's not going to sign anything despite the fact that she already signed the $2,000 per month agreement with Zach at the end of season 5. And here we are getting closer to the end of season 6. So, yeah, just to kind of wrap things up, Zatima season 2 prior to Sister season 6. So Fatima making her pregnancy announcement, well, she's canonically pregnant in Sisters, unless at some point before this she found out that she wasn't pregnant. And when it comes to the wine thing, just let it go. Let's let it go. I know some people during the live stream was like, well, it's not bad for somebody who's pregnant to have wine, like one glass every now and then. I'm not a woman, and the person who said that was a woman, so I feel like her knowledge supersedes mine. Because I just did a quick Google search, but hey, it is what it is. What do you think about it? Like I said, I'm not losing sleep over it either way, but let's talk about it in the comments, and I'll chat with you in the next video.